I'm the man. Come round. Nothing can break me down. I'm the man. Come round, and nothing can break. You can't break me down. I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. I got a house on name. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. When it comes to Friday, I always earn. But don't try to teach me. Got nothing to learn. 'Cause baby, I'm gifted. You see what I mean? USDA certified lean. I'm the man. Come round. Nothing can break. You can't break me down. I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. I don't feel no pain. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. Who's the man? 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 Who's the plan? I'm the man. Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the plan? I'm the man. I'm the man. I got gas in the tank. I got money in the bank. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. I got skin in the game. Headed for the Hall of Fame. I got news for you, baby. You're looking at the man. Right hand to God, first in command. My testimony, but I take the stand. Who's the man? 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 Who's the plan? I'm the man. Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the man? Who's the plan? I'm the man. I don't give a damn. I'm the man.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to another live stream of SuperCoach Edge. And we are back. We are well and truly back, which is it's good to be back on home soil, of course. Apologies again for the hiatus on my part. Was over in the US doing some work, which was good fun, but good to be back, of course, as well, and good to be back delving into all things SuperCoach, of course. Let me get rid of this banner, little ticker. Sorry, I'm out of breath because I was feeding the cat. I had this queued up. I could hear the music playing, ran upstairs, and yeah, a bit of a mad scramble, of course. But thanks, as always, for joining. First live stream for a couple of weeks as well. Probably 3 weeks, I think, because I don't know if I did one before I left for the US, but it is good to be back. So, as always, if you have any comments, questions before, of course, the teams are released in about, 20 minutes time, 30 minutes. What is it, 6:15, 6:20, 25? We've got a fair bit of time anyway to answer any questions if you have any, so feel free to flick them through in the chat below here on YouTube. Haven't done any promo of this stream either, so I probably should be doing that. But anyway, in terms of my team, I'll be able to show you how I'm going. Not too bad, as you might have seen already, with the Team Talk edition that I just recently put up. There was a week there that we obviously missed in terms of, let me log in because it's logged me out on the SuperCoach page. So let me do that in the back end. But yeah, there was a round there that we'd missed and didn't go through, of course, my trades. And I don't think I discussed it in my team talk this week, so happy to go through that strategy-wise. But I've just realised in terms of my team, which I didn't go through in the team talk either this week, is, and I think I might catch a few people out, and it almost caught me out, but of course we have the 3 trades across the bye weeks, which ends after this week, of course, and then it reverts back to 2 trades. And I was thinking, okay, yep, no worries, all good. I'll do 2 down, 1 up potentially next week to get Rosie in my team. But of course, if we're down to 2 trades, I'll need to do at least a downgrade this week in order to prep for next week. So just for those people as well that are of that mindset, just keep that in mind because you don't really want to be caught out because otherwise it'll put you back a week. Alrighty, let's roll through, shall we, into the team. Share screen, of course. There we go, that. And whilst it's on screen, I might also just use it as an opportunity to promote this live stream. Awfully quiet, of course, in the comment section. Usually I have a few people rolling through, but I understand this is the time of year as well that a lot of people get burnt out, and rightfully so as well. Can't believe it's round 15 already. Incredible. The season has well and truly flown by, but as you can see there, 1971, I scored 2,269th overall for the rank, and this is how my team looks at the moment. And I've gone ahead and made that extra trade, which you'll see here in the form of Kynan, I think that's how you pronounce it, Kynan Brown, from the D's, of course, making his debut. I do need someone that is a DPP. Obviously, downgrading to him allowed me to bank a bit of cash, and that came via Joel Frazier. Wasn't too keen to really get rid of him, but I do need to punt someone in order to fund a bit of coin to then bring in Rosie next week, which will be, he'll be operating as my M9 for the remainder of the season. I'm kind of in 2 mindsets. Do I go for Kynan Brown and get potentially an extra player this week? It'll give me 20 players for around 15. Or do I go alternatively for a non-playing player like a Sard at Essendon, who's a defender midfielder? Because the thing is, at the moment, I'm kind of flushed with a bit of, which is a bit unheard of, especially compared to last year, but flushed with a bit of coverage on the bench. You'll see there I've got Dowling, Kruger as well, but who knows if he's going to stay in the team, at least longer term anyway, when Myercheck and Cox and stuff return. But then Richards as well is obviously going to make his return from his injury. And I think defence is really the only, as you can see there, I've got Will Dawson, who's virtually out for the year, and Zach Reed as well, potentially out for the year. So that's really the only area that I'm lacking in a bit of depth and bench cover. But as you can see, I've still got Zach Fisher, who I can swing back with Wilson into defence if need be. And then I guess with that coverage that I do have on the bench, in the midfield and forward line, it will allow me to provide a little bit of rookie cover there. But I'm kind of at the point there where I almost need a non-playing player in the forwards and or midfield, especially if I'm getting Rosie in as my M9, because, if I want to loop on Rosie's score, or, if I'm benching a Tom Green or something and he goes bananas, I need to find a way to loop their scores on field. So, something to keep in mind. But, of course, let me just go onto YouTube. Let us know as well, if you're tuning in, just give us a g'day in the chat, because it's awfully quiet. And I want to just make sure everything is operating smoothly. I might open it up on another window and just make sure. But I do understand that there's quite a few people as well doing their team sheet release live streams at the moment. So that is probably part of the reason why viewership is, I guess, distributed, which is fine. Good to see a lot of people in the community getting around it and putting out some content. But let's just make sure that this stream is all good to go. Let us know as well how you've been performing as well across the past couple of weeks that I have been MIA. Keen to know if you've actually made up ground across the bye period. I always say that, the 4 bye weeks, don't look at them individually. Look at them as a whole. And I guess the rank that you've had before the bye period, compare it to the rank that you've got coming out of the bye period, is kind of the barometer in assessing how you've performed across the bye period as a whole. Is probably the good way to look at things, which I'll get into in a moment with my team. It looks as though it's coming through, but my chat isn't working for some reason. Apologies, ladies and gents. It looks like the StreamYard side of things is stuffing up. So I'll have to open up the chat on another window and through the YouTube, of course, and read it out through there. But I won't be able to flash it up on screen, unfortunately. So we'll see how things go. But it's saying that it's still listing this video as a private video, which is interesting considering I changed it to public. But let us give that a bit of a go and see if it works now. For some reason, I think it reverted back to a private video, which makes no sense because we have 14 people tuning in. Anyway, Adam Nemeth, of course, tuning in. Here we go. It's popped up on the screen. Yes, huzzah. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you, Adam, as always, for tuning in. It would not be a live stream without yourself tuning in, first and foremost, but also first with the comments. So love that by you. Great, man. Hope you're well. Rod Bard, sorry. Thanks for tuning in, mate. First question of the night. McKercher as a 23rd primo, or do I save a trade and cash to strengthen existing 22? I have a playing rookie on every line using Jackson as ruck cover. I would say first and foremost, strengthen your existing 22 more than anything. But it really depends, because that's pretty much a loaded question, because it comes down to if you've completed the team. But if you're talking in terms of, I guess, guys that are underperforming, like a Tom Green or a Walsh or a Tookie Miller, if you're talking about punting those guys in order to strengthen your team in that sense, I would opt for a 23rd primo like I'm doing with Rosie, as opposed to using that trade to trade out a Tom Green or a Miller or a Walsh or whoever's kind of been a bit on a downward spiral. So it just gives you, I think, an option, especially with the likes of Tom Green. I think a lot of people have been frustrated with him, and rightfully so, but I am wary of the fact that Canelio is making his return potentially as soon as this week. We'll see very, very shortly, or maybe next week. But with the quality of guys like that making their return, I do see Tom Green turning his form around. We obviously saw late last year, after he did his hamstring, he came back and absolutely blew it away. And a lot of people, including myself, traded out Tom Green off the back of his hamstring injury. So just kind of keep that in mind. I mean, it's not out of the realms of possibility that he could turn things around. And I do think he will. He's a quality player. Same goes for Sammy Walsh. Had a very, very slow start to the year, even for the majority of the season last year, and then just burnt it leading to the finals. So we could see a very similar turnaround in form there. And likewise, Tookie Miller. Obviously tagged last week. I didn't see the game. I was in the US, but by reports he was tagged by Ross the Boss's mob. Makes no sense at all. Sorry, not Ross the Boss. It was it Ross the Boss? Did they play each other last week? Sorry, I'm still trying to acclimatise back to all things AFL. Who is he tagged by? Actually, it was leading into their bye, wasn't it? So maybe it was Ross the Boss. But it just didn't really make much sense to me. Yeah, Ross the Boss it was. Why would you tag Tookie Miller? I mean, he is the sort of player that can be damaging and running both ways. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But yeah, all in all, I guess all that to say that I do expect these guys who are, a bit down in form to turn things around. So Rod Bard. McKercher, though, I don't know if you could trust him as a 23rd primo, but if you've already got him in the team, yeah, stick with him. But if you're talking about it in terms of bringing him in, I don't know if it would, off the back of his injury that he had, which was a bone stress hotspot. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of a worry of all injuries. CJ Samet, thanks for tuning in, mate, as always. Thoughts on Elijah Hollins? I'm a big fan, obviously, as a baggers man, but I I guess the one thing that he has in his arsenal, and one thing that you could probably apply to all Carlton players really, is the fact that our fixture, is pretty favourable in the back part of the year. I'll bring it up on screen now. That's part of the reason why I've brought in my man, as you can see here, Charlie Curnow. Because of the fact that, yeah, that fixture really does open up. They've had a difficult sort of first part of the season, played quite a few quality teams, especially those that finished in the 8 last year. But we've also got Geelong, who concede quite a few points to opposition mids. Richmond, Bulldogs North, Collingwood, who Charlie Curnow plays well against. And I think Elijah Hollands may as well, because the Pies do tend to give up some points to forwards. Hawthorn, West Coast and Kilda. So in terms of matchups, they've got a dream run, have the baggers, and hopefully so as a supporter. But I do like Elijah Hollands as a bit of a left field option. Let's bring him up on screen now. 355.5k, so manageable in terms of being able to get him at that price point. I do suspect his recent game, 3 goals. But although against Port, 92 didn't kick a goal. But you can see there he does have a bit of a low floor. So he's not someone that I would really... Sorry, mouse is playing up. He's not someone that I'd have utmost confidence in performing consistently from week to week. But if you are using him as someone like an F7 or an M9, I don't mind that. So yeah. Also, would you consider Steele to Yo or Walsh? No, I wouldn't. Of the guys that I've spoken about, like Miller, Walsh, Green, I'm probably least confident in Steele turning things around. I don't know, it's just a hunch. But in terms of those options, alternatively, Yo, no, his he's just bloody paper. All he needs to do is wet him and he just falls to bits. And Walshy, like I said, yeah, I can see him turning his form around, especially when Chera returns to the side. But yeah, I would potentially look elsewhere if I had the time again. Go for a Zachary Merritt, potentially. Only, 18, 19 grand more than Walshy. 28 grand, sorry. Yeah, more than Walshy, but yeah, of those two, I'd probably go for Walsh. Aaron, g'day, mate. Thanks for tuning in. He's given us the, yep, it's coming through loud and clear. Thank you. Mark Westaway, thanks for tuning in, mate. G'day. Wondering about Steele to Merritt. Yep, I do like that, mate. Do like it indeed. Slim, hoi hoi, boys. I'm here. Sorry, I was napping. Do you work night shifts, Slim, or are you just down for a nap or two? Did a fair bit of that upon returning from New York City, of course. Represent. I can say myself, because the jet lag, it hit hard, but it actually hit harder on the way over there. So I reckon it was probably like 4 days in. The jet lag absolutely smashed me, but probably didn't help that I was working pretty much every single day bar one of the 13 days I was there. And yeah, it was go, and it was just filming like crazy and editing, and then afterwards we'd go out, of course, for a few drinks, and it'd be late nights, early starts. Yeah, incredible. But yeah, love a good nap, Slim. Mark moved from 1876 to 824 over the last 3 buy rounds. 2128, 1859, 2128. Gee whiz, you've done pretty well, especially last week with that 2128. A lot of people, including myself, struggled to score, anywhere near that 2,000 mark. So well done to you, Mark. Aaron, Kerner this week and choice of a defender next. Ed Richards, you don't mind that? Or Yo this week and wait 2 weeks for Cash Gen to get Rankin? No, I do like your first option, mate. Go for Kerno and then bring in Ed Richards, who's killing it in the midfield at the moment for the Doggies. Adam, on the way home, so mainly a listening man tonight. Great, man. My question tonight is a throwback to last year. And that is, how is your Voss opinion on this point of the season? Love your work, legend. Sorry, let me just blow my nose because it is getting congested and I'm sure it's annoying you. So just bear with me. Let me just mute and blow my nose. Blow the old honker. Apologies. Yes, in terms of the Voss opinion, spoke about it late last year, early this year as well. But good to see he's turned things around. It's not just him, but it's the coaching staff as a whole as well. The way we're playing now compared to the first 6-7 rounds of last year, chalk and cheese. Really, really good. We're not hugging the wings like we were. We're not kicking inside 50, tight in the pocket where our conversion rate was, few and far between. We're going direct. Charlie and Harry, they're working in cohesion, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, a tip of the cap to Voss and the coaching staff as a whole for turning things around. And we've always had the cattle and the troops, the talent across the board. The main thing at the moment that's really holding us back is we're getting injuries, which can scuttle things. Chera is the main one at the moment, but be good to have him back. And once we do, we'll be operating on all cylinders virtually. And then around that, just the troops that come in as support staff will be able to help out. So yeah, bullish on the way things are looking at the moment and the way things are tracking for the remainder of the year. So heading to the game, of course, tomorrow night against the Cats. First game that I'll be attending since I left for the US. So keen for that. And I missed out on the game last week, of course, between the Dons, or the week prior, the Dons and my mob. But yeah, good to see there. Erie is another legend. I don't really like cheese. How are you, mate? The good old cheese board. Hope you're going well. Glad to see you back as well, mate. So thanks for tuning in. Always a pleasure to see your face and the white gloves popping up there in the profile pic or the avatar there, mate. So yeah, going well, and straight back into the swing of things as well. CJ Samet, do we trust Jai Simpkin? No. I think on the weekend we saw we couldn't trust him for any more than a week. He hadn't even taken the field, and he'd already disappointed. So yeah, I think with his body at the moment, he's struggling a fair bit. I know he was a late out, but yeah, it's one of those things that when he's fit and firing, it can be handy, especially when he's running through the middle, which we saw the week prior to him being a late withdrawal that he can still score well, but yeah, he's not someone I'd be aiming for, and you don't want to be getting him into your team and then finding out that he stuffs you up with a late withdrawal, in a crucial league head-to-head matchup or the like. So yeah. Let me have a look at Simpkin, what he's priced at actually. 361, yeah, he's pretty cheap, but even then, I'd prefer to aim for a Rosie who potentially will be as cheap as this after this round. So yeah, the choice between a Rosie and a Simpkin, you go for Rosie every single day of the week. So I'd be going down that route. And that's it for questions at the moment. Let me just use this opportunity, as I said, I haven't done it yet, to tweet out the link to, of course, this stream. Let me whack it up on screen here. I don't really like cheese, of course. I've been a bit busy this week, but keen to see the return video with Liam after the stream, just before me old man bedtime. Just before me old man bedtime. Oh, you're saying you're gonna head to bed? It might put you to sleep, actually. Yeah, it's a nice it could do the trick. But no, it was great to be back with Liam, of course, as well. And as I said to him on the episode at the top of the show, that he did well to punch out an episode solo. It's not easy. It is definitely not easy doing it all yourself. And yeah, he was able to do that, which was great to see. And yeah, it's good to be back, having a bit of banter. Numerous Simpsons references, of course, that a lot of you know and love during the show. What was that? Looks like someone was clawing my window outside. I don't know if anyone's stalking me, but sounded a bit weird. Anyway, but no, it was great to be back. And yeah, feel free. I mean, this is the time of year as well that numbers tend to drop off, as I said earlier, with trades dwindling, injuries hitting, all that sort of stuff. It can sort of drive a few people away for frustration, and to keep up interest and passion for the game across a 24 round season, is a bit of an ask, I think. And outside of us Nuffies, of course, and I don't know if it should loop anyone else in the Nuffy category, but Liam and myself as content creators, you've got to grin and bear it as he is, manfully, of course, because he's not having the best season. He's ranked 60k or thereabouts, but I'm traveling okay, just outside the top 2k. So hopefully the goal for me is to finish inside the top 1k like I did last year. But I think most of it will probably hinge off this week and how I perform, because a bit of an edge this week for me because I've got currently 20 players, which you'll be able to see there once I get rid of that on screen. 20 players playing this week, probably 19 because Brown's going to be a sub most likely, whether he's a starting sub or subbed off in game. He's but nonetheless, it's going to give us 19 and a half players, we'll say. So I think there's a lot of people out there. Let us know as well in the comments as to how you're tracking this week in terms of the available players that you've got to try and make a best 18. But from what I've seen, quite a few people are going to be struggling this week. I struggled last week. I think it was 19 players. Actually, it was 19 down to 18 because Wangan and Miller was laid out, which hurt me. But it swings around about. Hopefully I can make up the difference this round, and hopefully that puts me in good stead for the coming rounds or rest of the season coming out of the buys. Summit, yes, just referencing Brown. Job security, I think it really depends. It'd be good to see who the outs will be for the Ds. That'll kind of tell the tale as to if he's just covering someone or if he's the more preferred option compared to someone that's going to be omitted. It's hard to say, but he showed a fair few good signs. I don't know if anyone can remember or tuned in. I think it was the game against Richmond, I think, from memory. They had a bit of a hit out practice game, the Ds, and ended up kicking a couple of goals or thereabouts, and his kicking was elite. I've probably still got a few trawl back through our Twitter. You'll be able to see that clipped up a few highlights, and I'm pretty sure one of those was Brown kicked a nice goal, snapped around the body from memory. So he's got a few tricks in his bag, in the old kit bag. So it'd be good to see him get a bit of a run at senior level. But without Petrarca, who knows? I think he's more of a small forward. More interest to me is to see who's going to be taking that spot through the middle. With Brown, maybe that does indicate that another small forward in Pickett goes through the middle. Brown takes Pickett's forward spot, which will, in turn, hopefully see him get a bit of a run. But yeah, interesting to see. Slimmy, Damo, is there anyone worth looking at in the next DPP change? Is it in round 18? It is indeed. There isn't really, apart from Warner, who, from memory, I think he had a 24, 26. I think he's 26%, I think, time in the forward line. The threshold's 35%, so he's 9% behind what he needs to be in order to activate that forward mid DPP. I don't think he's going to get there. He looks like he's playing pinch hitting up forward to try and shake a tag. I think he's going to get tagged over the next couple of weeks, but I don't think he's going to be spending enough time up forward to activate the forward DPPs, unfortunately. Outside of that, again, I think it was, from memory, Horn Francis was 30% forward percentage, 5% below where it needs to be. So I don't think he's going to be activating his forward DPP either. Outside of that, there really weren't any players. I think it was Zach Williams, but of course, who's still got Zach Williams? Virtually no one. So he'll activate a forward defensive DPP for those people that still have him, because he's playing predominantly forward at the moment. But yeah, there aren't really anyone on the horizon that's going to be saving grace to us, unfortunately. Cheesy, wondering if at 3.30 I should be trading in Walsh at good value as a final midfield spot, or look for a pod just to boost that ranking even more. I already have a few pods, but can never have too many. You actually can have too many, because they can work against you if they don't perform well. But if they perform well, then obviously they give you a leg up. I think it's a bit of a fine balance. You've got to find between both. Walsh, if you find a midfield spot, I don't mind it if he's a bit of an M8. 3.30, what's that referencing to, mate? Is that your bank? Potentially? Let us know. Let me blow my nose again. Congestion is getting to me. whilst I'm here as well, apologies. Let me show you my sidekick. It is Paddy. It is Paddy, my cute cat. Look up, mate. Look up. He's not looking up. No, he's not looking up. He refuses to look up. Hold on. Let me show you his face. How cute is he? He's the best. Just thought I'd show you him. He's come in. He doesn't meow. He goes. So he just came in and announced himself because I just fed him. But anyway, this is my sidekick. Mark Westaway, 21 players on field before trading out Steele. That's pretty good for this week, mate. Mate, you're killing it. You're absolutely killing it, Mark. You've planned your buys very, very well. So you smashed it. Oh, cheesy, 330 ranked. That is incredible, mate. Absolutely incredible. Well done. You're a legend, and you know your super coach. So well done, mate. And as Mark says, top effort. What's IDRLC? I feel like I'm an old man here, not knowing what an acronym is. I don't really like cheese, of course. Just talk through it and find out what it is. Sorry, Paddy's just walking back and forth. Which blue boy is tagged tomorrow? I'd say Walshy, unfortunately. I think he was tagged from memory by O'Connor last time the Cats played against the Baggers. So I'm anticipating that's going to be the same thing tomorrow. So unfortunate for those of us that own Walshy, but yeah, it is what it is. The taggers are back in vogue. Let us know as well how many players are rolling with in the comments section for round 15. Just a bit of a straw poll. Be good to see if most people can make a best 18 before trades or after trades, and how many trades you got left as well. As you can see there, I'm down to 5. I'll be down to 4 next week when I bring in Rosie off the back of... I've worked out my cash pretty well because I can probably afford Jai Clark to Rosie, which it's just funny to say that phrase, Clark to Rosie, and allow me to keep Revel as well as that forward forward mid DPP, which, speaking of which... maybe I should forego Kynan Brown because I've already got if I keep Revel, it means that I'll have an existing forward mid DPP. And that was part of the reason why I was getting Kynan Brown in. So maybe I punt Kynan Brown, especially if he's sub, and go for a genuine loophole option in Assad from Essendon. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see how the teams land, and we'll assess from there. Let me do the acronym. IDRLC says, cheers, Mark. 3rd year as well. I've honestly gotten pretty lucky. No. You make your own luck in SuperCoach, by and large. Cheesy, don't undersell yourself, mate. Albeit, of course, there is bad luck, which you can't control. And a bit of good luck as well, which, as we've seen with Butters, a bit of an interesting one. Getting off his charge, which I thought he most definitely wouldn't, considering the AFL at the start of the season were supposedly going to be cracking down on head-high hits. But I think they've kind of made their bed after Hogan got off his head-high hit. I think it was against Carlton, actually. Centre Bounce, what's up, legends? Hope you're well. Joe Kindon, SuperCoach edging. Yes, edging indeed. That's what we do best. Cheesy, 19 play this week and have 5 trades left too. Damo cutting it pretty close for sure. The one thing that you've got to keep in mind though is that provided you do have enough coverage on the bench, going down to 5 trades isn't necessarily a bad thing. I've always been planning to have 5 trades for injuries from the start of the season. So to be down to 4 whilst having Rosie as my 23rd man, I'm very, very happy with. And then outside of that, as I said, if I'm able to keep a Revel, trade Clark to Rosie, and I've got Revel, I've got Joe Richards once he returns, I'll have Dowling obviously as well, and then with the DPP switches and swings, I'll have Fisher be able to go back in defence, Viable Dawson, mids to forwards, forwards to mids, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's all contextual, I think, and it comes down to your specific team makeup. But yeah, if you're down to 5 trades and you don't have bench cover, I'd be awfully worried. The one thing that I think we mentioned it in the this week's podcast, Liam and I, if you are down to 5 trades and you don't have bench cover, I can see also as well there's a lot of people on Twitter that are trading their last sort of bench cover in the likes of Revel or a Fraser in order to get in a 23rd man or even just upgrade their team to a best 22, but they haven't got any bench cover. That does mean that for those weeks where, if a player gets concussed or out for a week, have a niggle, get suspended for a week, it means that you're going to be down a player and you're going to be forced to obviously use your trades in order to cover that 1 week or 2 week injury or suspension or whatever. So you don't want to be in that spot. And it's something I've learned across the journey to don't you got to keep your powder dry. Don't trade out every single rookie because coverage is underrated. Kevin, any news on LDU? No, nothing as yet, as that we can see. I think he was having some sort of scan or they're going to assess things and work out where he's at, but I haven't heard anything. But let us know if you have. Otherwise, anyone else tuning in, let us know in the chat. Adam, if Sexton plays, see how this week goes or trade now. Depends where he's named. I think because Will Power's going to be back this week, and I'm anticipating that Sexton is probably going to lose his spot or get pushed forward. If he's pushed forward, he might as well lose his spot because, as we know, he's not able to score as well as what he can when he's in defence. Let me just mute this as well. Just my nose is playing up. Apologies. I think it's something to do with talking too much. I'm not used to talking at this length. And I've always got a blocked sinus as well, which is a shit of a thing. I should get it cleared, but I am a stubborn bastard. But yeah, hopefully for your sake, you're not relying on Sexton to be a best. I'm not going to sneeze. Oh, gee whiz. I've set the bloody the gates open here with the sneezing. Let me have a swig of a drink. Oh, no. No, don't start sneezing. Don't start sneezing. Mark Westaway, 7 trades left. Option 1, Steele to Merritt, 228 left over. Option 2, Steele and Fraser from Merritt and Curnow, 51 left. That'll bring you down to 5. Option 3, Steele and Fraser for Ridley, Curnow and 64. So option 1 obviously is an upgrade in the midfield. Option 2, upgrade in the midfield and the forward line. Option 3 is an upgrade in the forward line and defence. So am I assuming correctly that you've got 21 primos and you need another one? And then assuming the second one's going to be a 23rd player. Let us know, Mark, as to what your setup is, because it's hard to read as to what trades you should go for, depending on what cover you need and what part of the field you need to still upgrade and bring in that last primo on field. Cheesy, Salem will be my defense cover and Rosie for my mids. Jeez, you're doing really well, mate. Unfortunately, my cover for the forward line is Sexton, which may not work out after tonight. Yeah, but I think to have coverage across 2 lines there, or virtually Salem is a coverage across the mid and defense. Rosie obviously in the midfield. But if you've got actually no, because Fisher, assuming he's in your forward line. If you've got a Joe Richards or someone that's bound to come back, that might be all right, but it might be the chance to punt a Sexton to someone else, potentially. Who are you bringing in as well via Rosie? What's the rookie that you're punting via that? Because it might be worthwhile punting Sexton and keeping the rookie that you're presumably punting to try and get Rosie into your team, if you've got DPP, that is, to swing things around. Teams will be announced very, very shortly. Of course, I still haven't done it yet because I've been busy jibber-jabbering. Where are we? Continue sending those questions through, of course, as well. And how you're looking heading into the round as well. Are you able to field the best 18, or are we going to struggle? Josh, g'day, mate. Thanks for tuning in as always, mate. Good to see your familiar name about these traps. Would you rather have Curnow and Fife Bolton as F6, 7, or not have F7 and get Rankin. I would prefer the first option, mate. Curnow and Bolton. I wouldn't be going for Fife. I have a really, really a bit of an inkling that Fife's going to start becoming the sub from here on out. His downward trajectory is continuing. So I'd be relying upon Bolton, who, as we know, can have a high ceiling but a terrible, terrible floor. So I'd be going for Curnow and Bolton, because if it does allow you that, extra F7, that'll give you a bit of a leg up over those teams that don't have an F7, which I think a lot of people won't. And yeah, Rankin I do like, but there is potential. Just looking at Rankin's, because someone did mention that he's a bit of a tag risk, which is an interesting thing to suggest, because Dawson under the weather, he's still got a foot injury or thereabouts. Now the Giants, Brisbane, Berry could potentially do a run with. St Kilda, Win, Hager, Essendon don't really tag. Hawthorn, yeah, not without McGuinness. Geelong, O'Connor, the Dogs, Libba potentially. Port Adelaide, Willem Drew, and Sydney, James Jordan. So a very, very good suggestion by that person. I can't recall who it was, but might have been on Twitter. Or maybe it was in the comment section of our full episode for this week. But a very, very good suggestion there. So, yeah, I'd be a little bit worried about Rankin exposing himself there if Dawson especially is under the weather. They just rely on Dawson being out of form, out of fitness, and they might target Rankin. Who knows? But best of luck, Josh. Cheesy, Sullivan is the one I'm punting. Gotcha, mate. Yeah, Billy can't keep him. I think he's going to be out of the team. As soon as the likes of Degoe, Mychek, Elliott, the like, return. Ads, you've said, have Dowling, Clark, Schoenmaker, and Richards on the bench with 21 primos and 7 trades, just waiting for bottom price Sarong. Yep, like that, mate. This all sounds okay, but ranked back at 26k, so long, catch-up game ahead. At least you've got bench cover. That's the main thing. I think a lot of teams are going to be found out with injuries and the like, which always hit towards the back end of the year. They always hit. You've almost got to video yourself at the point of the season where you get injuries and then show it to yourself, play it back the next season to remind yourself that how hard the injuries hit. Because I remember last year, I had Hewitt as my 23rd man, and then I had Doherty go down. I had Walsh go down, and Hewitt was only obviously able to cover one of those. Then I had to have a rookie cover, and then I was copying zeros until Walsh returned, and then I think it was Walsh returned, and then Doherty went out or thereabouts, and it was a shit of a thing. So yeah, don't really undersell or underwrite what you've got there in terms of cover ads. But looks like you've planned it well with Sarong. He is a man to get. Vinny, hi Damo, g'day mates. I'm fielding 22 after my trades. Well done, that's incredible. Curnow and Brown in. McNeil and Sullivan out with 207.9k with 6 trades left. Only worried about Sexton. I think it's going to be a running trend for those people that own Sexton. But you've done well there with Sullivan making a fair bit of coin. McNeil around about, what's he made? Touching 100k or thereabouts. But yeah, with 6 trades left, very, very good, mate. You've planned well. Aaron, missed Thursday Night Football already. I do actually tend to agree as well, but I think they've come out, the AFL, and said that they're looking to bring back the Thursday games as a regular fixture throughout the entire season, which I wouldn't mind, but it stuffs things up, I reckon, for SuperCoach. Because, just time to plan between rounds, all that sort of stuff. It's becoming a bit like BBL, where you've got 1 day turnaround. Not quite to that impact, but yeah, from a supporter's viewpoint, I do enjoy the Thursday night games. Matt Jean, looking to get Walsh or Ridley this week. Who do you think gets more points from now to the end of the year? It's a tough one, mate. Maybe a Ridley, but Walsh, I know people have been throwing shit his way, and bias aside, of course, if you look at his scoring, he actually hasn't been too bad, a relatively high floor. And these games where he's been scoring the 119, 114, 111, these aren't ceiling games. And I feel at times that he's kind of been underscored a fair bit. like that game, he had 34 disposals against Melbourne, 11 tackles, 1 goal, 1 for 119. How? 32 disposals against Gold Coast, 6 marks, 4 tackles. Port Adelaide, 34 disposals, 13 tackles for 111. So I don't know what the go is. Someone at Champion Data doesn't like Walshy, obviously. I'm taking the absolute mick. But yeah, a bit of a coin flip for you there, mate. Just probably comes down to your structure and where you most need points. Because one's obviously a defender and one's a midfielder. I reckon Strawn gets another game next week after being manhandled by Grundy. Here's my right cover. We'll find out, mate. And just with that, let's jump across to see the teams. Let's check it out. It's going to be an interesting couple of changes here. So let me change the teams. Change the screens rather. And all I can smell at the moment is Paddy. He's taking a massive shit. So that's all I can smell at the moment is just shit in my nostrils. Anyway, let's go through teams. Carlton Geelong. Ian Orazio, my man. Fuck me. Jack Carroll omitted. For Geelong, Tui, Henry, and Danger in. Out goes Neil, Stanley, and Tanner Braun. So looks as though they're rolling with Blitzarves in the ruck, which is interesting. I thought they might have. Stanley's injured. I thought they might have brought back Conway. If Stanley's injured, why is he named in the emergencies? Scott just taking the absolute piss. That's that game. Port up against Brisbane. We have Logan Evans, Jordan Sweet. Oh, wow. Jeremy Finlayson and Willie Rioli. Soldo omitted. Narkle omitted. Williams omitted. And Evans omitted. So they've swung the changes here. And the Lions, Brain comes in for Ainsworth, which I've seen a couple of people mention as a mooted change. That's a big one. Soldo got absolutely towelled up, so out he goes. And for those people that have Jordan Sweet, don't know if anyone would, but could make a little bit of cash for you. Giants up against the Swans. Lockie Ash returns. Max Grzycki and James Peatling in. Cadman omitted. Wow. Haynes injured and Sam Taylor injured with that shocking injury. He's got a testicular injury of sorts. Ouch. For the Swans, Caden Cleary makes his debut and out goes Matt Roberts. That name there, Max Grzycki, reminds me of Wazowski from Monsters Inc. It's Wazowski. Next up, we have Melbourne up against North. Tomlinson, Tholstrup, and Brown in. Petrarca injured. Billings omitted. Bailey Laurie omitted. And Kynan Brown, which Laurie's kind of the perennial sub-risk. So I can totally see Brown being the starting sub. But might be Tholstrup, maybe. So who have they got in the middle? Sparrow, alongside Viney. Okay. North, Dylan Stevens and Simpkin returning. Out goes Kellen Dawson, suspension, and Stevenson, the perennial omission. Essendon up against West Coast. We have Redmond returning, Dersma, Draper, and Caddy, and Satis omitted. For the Eagles, Jaden Hunt, Oscar Allen, Brockman, and Rotham in. Domsheed out injured. Of course, these are the Sunday games, extended bench. Freo up against the Suns. Heath Chapman returns, which should mean Warner goes out, but he's still in the team at the moment. Hugh Davies, Emmett Erasmus, and Corey Wagner in. Draper omitted, which is interesting. Omitted. Well, Chapman comes in, so maybe that means that they keep Warner. Who knows? We'll wait and see there once teams are finalised. For Gold Coast, Jesus, look at these changes. Will Powell, Rogers, Day, Witts, Ellis, Johnston, Davies, and Oye. I don't know what his name. Fiorini out omitted. There goes his spot in my bloody draft team. Ben King injured. Didn't get up from that knee injury that he sustained. Holman, Walter, and Moyle out omitted. that's virtually it, ladies and gents. Condensed round, condensed teams. Let us know your thoughts, how you impacted the like. Josh, call me crazy, but I'm going for Yo. I've done it every year to date, and it's been a train wreck, but I have a good feeling also having Fisher to cover my defence makes me feel safe. Well, there you go. As long as you've got contingencies and plans in place, back yourself in. Mark Westaway, current team, part 1, pre-trade defence. Ryan, Dacos, Sheasel, Houston, Dale Young, Aaliyah and Dawson. Like that. Mids, you have Bont, Sarong, Butters, Walsh, Steele, Horn, Francis, Miller, Oliver, Fraser, Revel, and Dowling. Part 2, Rux, Gorn, Grundy, Livingston. Forwards, Heaney, Flanders, Zorko, Jackson, Fisher, Sexton. Okay. So I guess Sexton's probably the only weak link you've got there. But to have Dempsey as well, I mean, you've got a fair bit of coin tied up there, so you could easily upgrade Sexton for sure. But as you said, with those trades that you're considering earlier, Mark, you're going to be able to bring in some nice players. Now, StreamYard's not working again. There we go. I did click that a million times. Alrighty, so in that context, Mark, I would prioritise getting a forward in for Sexton, or at least a play in Sexton's spot. So I think Curnow coming in makes sense. So I'd be going for an option 2 or option 3. But your defence, I like the correction trade of Steele to Merritt. I don't mind that. Steele for Ridley, will that stack your defence a bit too much? Again, here we go, it's not working. That's it. I assume you move Young or someone into the mids. I'd probably go, in that case, I would lean towards either option 2 or option 3 in your case, Mark. So best of luck, mate. Teams are out. Thank you, Cheesy. Josh Sweet back in. Yeah, exactly. When we don't need him, he comes back. Absolute pest. Hinkley taking the piss, surely bringing in Sweet. I traded him last week, yeah. As a lot of us did, I think, Cheesy. Absolute piss taker is Hinkley. Conan Brown, 102k. Yep, indeed, Josh. So if you need a bit of cover, I'd be looking at him, 100%. Oliver or Young would become M9. Yes. Gotcha, mate. Gotcha. I think both of those options are pretty good, so best of luck to you, mate. You're killing it so far, so back yourself in. Let's move back to this tab. So those are teams. Those are teams indeed. Let me just tweet this out. Join us. Alrighty, apologies, just putting out a tweet. Yeah, gotcha, Mark. M9. There we go. So I've got quite a few green dots, which is good to see for my team. I've got 20 players. I just don't know. Let us know your thoughts as well. Should I forego a 20th player in Kynan Brown and instead go for someone like a Sard, who's going to be a loophole option from Essendon, that is, the rookie, the mid-season draftee, as a defensive midfielder DPP player. That'll allow me, if I go for Essendon Sard instead of Brown, it'll allow me a swing from like a Dacos and Martin into the middle, if need be. I've obviously got that Fisher and Dawson swing as well from defence and forwards. And by having Essendon Sard, it'll allow me to have a genuine non-playing player. Whereas if I have Kynan Brown, yes, he gives me that extra player this week, albeit if he's the sub, he may only come on for around about, 20, 30, 40 points at most. Is that worth persisting with going forward, considering that in the midfield, I won't have a non-playing player to loop Rosie's score when I get Rosie in my team next week. So let me know your thoughts. Keen to hear what you think I should do longer term. Should I forego, again, Kynan Brown, the extra player for this week, and go for Sard, who will help me as a bit of that loop player to loop on, Rosie's score, or it could be a Tom Green that I bench, or so on and so forth, which is kind of what I might do, I think. And then even so, if I want to go for Kynan Brown next week, I can always do that, but probably won't be needed. Where are we? Alrighty. Cheesy. I much prefer the non-playing dual position option. Thank you, mate. I think it kind of makes sense as well. Just, Brown's going to obviously help me for 1 week. Then after this week, I'm not going to have to play him ever again. And yeah, it means that I'll probably have to use another trade to get a non-playing player. In order to, if I want to loop on Rosie Score or whoever the M9 player is to get on field. So, if Kynan is dropped or hurt early on, will him not playing hurt you much, or is his dual position what matters for you? Well, virtually, looking at my team, so just pretend at the moment, Clark, as you see him there on midfield, he's going to become Rosie. Bont's obviously going to go back on field. Steele will. Dowling will stick in the midfield alongside Revel. And Rosie will be Clark. So it'll be, the bench will look like Rosie, Revel, Dowling. So I'll have 3 playing players off the bench. And if I put the emergency on Rosie, for example, and I've got a full complement of Sarong, Butters, Merritt, Bont, Steele, Miller, Walsh, and Green, it means there's no way for me to loop on Rosie's score because I don't have a non-playing player. Goes against kind of getting Rosie in that sense. The only benefit to getting Kynan in this week, Kynan Brown, is it gives me that extra player. But going forward, I won't need him. If he doesn't play, that's perfect. If he gets omitted or hurt, that kind of will give me a bit of an each way bet. It allows me to obviously have him play this week, and then I'll be able to use him as a loophole option next week. But that's the other point, is that I probably won't need his dual position anyway, because I'm going to keep Revel in my team, who's already a forward mid. So, yeah, the thinking behind going for... Sorry, I keep saying Essendon Sard, but I don't want to confuse him with, obviously, Carlton Sard. Sard Howley, he's a defensive midfielder. So that will activate that only DPP that I'm missing in my team, which is the defense and mids. So, yeah, that's kind of the thinking behind that. And it'd be Brown Brown would be in my team. Dowling would go back to the forward line, and instead of where you can see Dowling on the bench there, that'd be Sard El Hawley's spot. So, and I'll be able to use Sard as a bit of a loophole non-playing player. And then if need be, if I need to swing a Dacos or a Martin back into the midfield for coverage, which I probably won't anyway because I'll have Rosie, it just provides a bit of flexibility more than anything. Hopefully that makes sense, mate. TC Bay was going to get McKercher this week, not named. Do I get Rosie M8 or Kerno F5? You can probably wait a week on Rosie, mate, because his break-even is quite high. Still 130, I think, from memory. Yes, my memory still works. So, yeah, and I don't think he's actually performed well against the Lions in recent times. Let's have a quick squeeze. He scored 85, 25, and 97. 25 would have been an injury game, no doubt. But 85, 97, obviously well below that 130 break even. So if you can score similar, I think you'll go down probably around about 20k or thereabouts at a guess. So, yeah, you can probably wait a week on Rosie. And then Kerno I do like. How did he score against the Cats last time? I think he had kicked a few late goals. Yeah, 103 he scored. 3 goals too. So yeah, and if you can wait for Rosie and get him in next week or the week after, yeah, look to do that. Kerno I do like, and it sounds as though if you're getting Kerno at F5 that you're pretty shallow in the forward line, so makes sense to go for someone that's going to take a rookie off field compared to in the midfield. And I think they'll probably score similarly this round anyway. I reckon Kerno and Rosie. And Rosie, of course, getting back to full fitness. Cheesy, you'd be hoping Kynan would be dropped, then to use the Rosie loop. Yep, exactly. Might be worth just playing the 18, expecting a drop this week to set you up for the home run. I'd grab the Essendon boy. Thank you, mate, for confirming my thoughts. I might just do that. And, I mean, I could always get Brown in next week if I want to. Probably won't need to. If anything, I probably need a defensive rookie more than anything, which I don't know if there's any out there. Are there? Let's have a quick squeeze. I actually haven't even checked. Yeah, there's not actually. Who's that there? Logan Evans making his debut. Interesting. There's Warner, obviously, but I don't have confidence in him. Hugh Davies. They'll pop up, no doubt, but you don't want to be trading in guys that won't have a consistent spot. Yeah, so I don't know. But yes, thank you, Cheesy. That does make sense. And who knows, Kynan might get an extended run at it and absolutely scuttle me. And I'll be forced to use, obviously, another trade to get a non-playing player in, which I don't really want to because I want to be keeping my last 4 trades as injury trades. And then, once it gets down to SuperCoach finals, correction trades if need be. Let us... sorry, I haven't posted this to Facebook either. Like a silly. Adam, defensive rookie. Oh, yeah, the Showmaker. Yes, of course. Played the one game, so could go for him. But I'm a little bit worried about his job security as well because he came in off the back of Wangan and Miller not playing, and he should be making a return next week. So I wouldn't be going for Ari yet. If anything, I'll be waiting a week. So I'm just a bit distracted here because I've just seen the SuperCoach AFL account on Facebook say the AFL says it's pleased with the terrific development of the 4 umpire system, which is hilarious. And of course, Laura Kane, who just speaks absolute shit, much like Andrew Dillon. It helps us diversify the umpiring pool, but most importantly, it helps us make better decisions because we have more people watching the game in real time. No, it confuses things because half the time umpires are like, oh, well, I'll divert to that guy to make a decision, and so on and so forth, and just convolutes the things. Ridiculous. Her mouth, like, she is virtually like the positive PR person, and it's like, you're just treating us like Robbo said, like children, taking the absolute piss, not admitting when umpires have made mistakes, which happens everywhere in every job. Just admit that there's a mistake made, we'll correct it, all that sort of stuff. But incredible. Anyway, Jonas, thanks for joining us, mate. I hope you're well. I'm playing Cemetery of Parish this week in our league, ranked 405 and 60k. That means nothing, mate. That means nothing. I was matched up against in one of my leagues a team that was ranked. Actually, they'd scored 1,000 points less than me, and they somehow beat me, albeit on a bye week. But again, it's another bye week, so don't count your chickens before they're hatched. I'll just say that because the bye weeks can throw up some absolute curveballs. But I hope you're going well, Jonas. Carl Meany, hope you're well, mate. Good to see you joining us. Greetings, Your Excellency, and Australian Ambassador to New York. Yes, it's a good one, actually. I'd love to be. Do you think this is acceptable to get to 19 this week? Fraser and Sullivan to Zorko and Brown, the rookie. Would look at Rosie next. Love it, mate. Love it. Very, very nice. Presuming also that would that finish your forward line or almost finish it? But yeah, I think Fraser is nice to have as a bit of cover. But if you have other cover that you can use going forward, yeah, punt Fraser and Sullivan. I think has done his job. He's going to be out of the team sooner rather than later once the likes of DeGoey and Elliott and Mitchell and everyone return to the side for Collingwood. And then you get Rosie next week. Incredible, mate. Well done to you. Hope you're well. You've said Fraser still has up to 50k to make. Sullivan seems ready to cull. Yeah, it comes down to, nice to have. But if the 50k isn't really going to help you any more than what it would be to trade him now, compared to, waiting a week for Zorko and as opposed to getting him in this week and missing out on potential points, compared to the rookie that you're presumably playing in the spot where Zorko would take, I think it makes sense to punt Fraser if it allows you to make that upgrade. Do you think Zorko justifies the price premium over Kerno in general on the run home? So with Zorko, what's his break even? Still pretty high. I know, 98. I do think his price point at the moment, he's a bargain. So if you haven't got him, 100% get him in because 573 probably would have been around about the mark of those people that are a little bit more expensive, probably around about 15k more than when people started to jump on him. So you get him at a bargain for what he can output. So yeah, 100% get in Zorko. Kerno, I think, is good value, but doesn't have the same regular ceiling as what Zorko has shown he can have playing the defensive seagull role. So yeah, I'd go for Zorko now and go for Kerno at a later date, potentially as an F7 if you can afford to do it. You can loop off the bench, especially for those games later in the season when Carlton play the likes of West Coast, Richmond, St Kilda, all those teams. Cheesy, would you bring Kynan in if you see a score from, say, a Revel get a 24, or would the future Rosie loop be more worth it to you? That's a very, very good point, mate. I think that's probably the only situation where I'd kind of bring Kynan in. I did a similar thing last week I spoke about it in my team talk video, of course, but when I had McAuliffe in my team, and he was the sub. I only scored 11 off the back of that. It would have counted towards my best 18. I ended up bringing in a 19th player in Dowling, who obviously eclipsed that 11, got an extra 44 points into my total score, and that sort of helped me there. So yeah, if Revel goes ordinary, then I would think about it. But by the same account, if Kynan is the starting sub, who's to say he scores any more than 24? So if he's a starting sub, I probably wouldn't backtrack and do that. And I'll just swallow Revel's score, because at the moment without Brown, I've got 19 players anyway. So it'd mean that Revel's score would fall out of my my total score. Hopefully. Where are we? Cheesy has confirmed Laura Kane has completely lost the plot. Yeah, 100%. I hate the fact that I don't hate the fact she's female, but the fact she's female is, it opens up people to be like, don't criticize her because she's female. It's nothing to do with their gender. It's to do with the decision making. It's to do with the background, and it's to do with the fact that she's virtually a mouthpiece for the AFL, and all she's spouting is positivity, which is just ridiculous. You should be making, holding yourself to high standards, which they're not, because they're accepting mediocrity by saying the umpires aren't making mistakes, that they're not going to correct things, so on and so forth, which is just ridiculous, because in any job, if you're not holding yourself to high standards, you're accepting mediocrity, which is what's happening. So yeah, 100% agree. And it's not just Laura Kane either. It's Andrew Dillon, since he's taken over. And it's felt as if it's gone from like Demetrio down to McLaughlin, down to Dillon. It's gotten worse and worse. Where I thought when Demetrio was in charge, it was kind of questionable. But McLaughlin took over and was like, "We're going to give the game back to the fans." Never happened. They do these fan surveys and stuff, which they supposedly take on board what our thoughts and opinions are, but they don't. It's literally, again, PR stunt. They're just like, "Oh yeah, we're going to pay service to the fans, show as if we're paying attention to what you want and what your thoughts are about the game." They do not give a shit. It's ridiculous. I'd love to get into the AFL, turn things around, and just the umpiring rules are so like grey. There's so many grey areas. I'd love black and white. You compare it to other sports, it's a frustrating sport, and I can totally understand. Like, I was chatting to one of the podcasters over in the US in New York. He's based. His name's John Boy, Jomboy. He's a massive podcaster. He's actually built his own business off the back of it. And go to YouTube, check him out. He's a commentator for baseball. He earns hundreds of thousands of dollars. Has like 60 employees and stuff. But he was saying he wants to get into the AFL side of things, and I'm like, mate, if you're confused by the rules, take it from me, who's someone who's been following AFL for 36 years. And even to me, the rules are absolutely up in the air. Like, half the time you're watching games and you're like, why are free kicks being paid? Why are free kicks not getting paid? It's just an incredible sport is AFL, but it feels as though it's just becoming like more and more convoluted every single year. And with the changing of administrations, things aren't changing, things aren't improving. It's frustrating, very, very frustrating. So I've gone on a bit of a tangent then, but that is me. Jonas, they should hire Tony Jones as her personal assistant for punishment. Tony Jones, in what respect are you? What are you referring to there, Jonas? Let us know. If I missed something there, is it a Sunday Footy Show reference you're making there, or I don't know. But with that, ladies and gents, let us know if you have any comments, questions before we wrap things up, because we've been just ticking over an hour and 13 now. But happy to keep going if the punters tuning in want me to continue. So let me know. There we go. Jonas said it's a cruel and unusual, very unusual. Obviously, you don't like Tony Jones. Actually, I actually think it'd be fine as a personal assistant. Tony Jones with old chompers. He's a bit of a strange cat. He's Tony Jones, but could do worse. Mark, thank you so much. I don't know if that's directed to me, but I'll take it. Thank you. I guess the only question I had was, outside of this, what are your plans outside of the bye, heading into the run home? I know a lot of people, a lot of teams would be finalising their 22 with as many primos as they can have. What are your plans from here on out? Are you trying to opt for a 23rd player like I am with Rosie? Are you keeping it to 22 and holding a bulk of trades, like an extra trade or two, like 6-7 trades? Are you aiming for leagues, cash leagues overall? Let me know your thoughts. It's kind of hard as well with overall, because you kind of have to, in order to make up ground, have a little bit of a point of difference. And if you have a look at my team, actually, will it show if I go list? Yeah, here we go. So we look at it in terms of ownership on the right-hand side here. A lot of the players that I've got, I'm happy with, because they're top tier. But obviously they come with high ownership. So it means I'm kind of at the point where, for myself, I'm ranked outside the top 2K. I need to rely upon guys that are lower percentage ownership for me to sort of make up ground, and hoping that those players that are low ownership can score well. So that's probably part of the reason as well that I've gone for Charlie Curnow. He's in 9.1% of the teams at the moment. Wayne Miller, hopefully he can return, 15.4%. Tookie Miller, hopefully he turns his form around. English is another one that I'm surprised is only 22.8%. I know a lot of people have gone for a Grundy instead. Hopefully he can turn things around and continue scoring as well as he has, like on the weekend just gone. Houston's 23.1, that'll rise, no doubt. Who else is there? Who's the highest owned? Obviously Dacos, 77.3. Isaac Heaney, 61.5. Sheasel, Bond, Flanders, Gorn, Green. Hopefully Green gets traded out a fair bit and he can turn around his form. That's kind of what I'm hoping for anyway, is that like these guys that haven't been scoring well enough can turn around their form after people have traded them, and they become a little bit of a a primo pod in a sense compared to the higher owned players. Jonas, the thirsty old creeper, will try and... Oh, yes. I do remember that. Tried to give Beck Judd a bit of a kiss. Sorry, I've just got a text. I don't know if you can see that. It's padding on my screen there. It's from my father-in-law, and he said, "Fantasia in. How does he get a game?" We send this text message to each other every single week. He gets a game. But I will admit, his previous game, Fantasia, actually played well. But that's one of 13 games that he's played in total, or 12 games. So interesting. I have no idea. He must have photos of Voss in a compromising position. I have no idea. He's blackmailing his way into the team. That's literally all I can say. Carl Meany, great stuff. Thanks. We'll go Zorko and just hope the stain of owning consensus top bloke and great Aussie washes out over time. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, he's a shit of a bloke, really. It goes against my my own rules to avoid shit blokes, but can't avoid it when he's, what is he, top rank, where is he? What's he ranked at? Actually, probably just do it by average. I think in the forward line, he's ranked the second highest scorer in the forward line. So really, he's unavoidable, really. He was going to be my last upgrade, which virtually he kind of was. I think he was the third last upgrade for me. But you're just unavoidable. You got to get him in the team, and at the high ownership that he is, which is 31%. It actually could be higher, considering how shit the forward line is. At least that kind of gives a little bit of a safety net if he does go shit, get injured, all that sort of stuff that we're worried about. Become an even shitter bloke, get suspended. But yeah, hopefully he becomes a bit of a nicer bloke, a top bloke. Jonas, I can afford the Lizard or Kerno. 5 trades left, or go down to 4 trades. You get Houston with Stuffall, cover Richards and Dowling. Richards and Dowling isn't too bad. 78k in the bank with a completed team. I'm not a fan of the Lizard. I'm not a fan of him at all. I'd much prefer Kerno over him, just because I think there's better options in the defence compared to on the forward line where we're kind of scraping the barrel, which I think Kerno is kind of a bit of a top 7 to 10 forward. But with those nice matchups to come, I can see him pushing towards that top 6 compared to a Lizard who I don't think should finish. Where is he ranked, the Lizard? Where is he ranked? Good old Blakey. Oops. Yeah, he's ranked 17th defender. So I know he's had a few good scores, but yeah, he's not for me. Not my cup of tea. Houston as well. I think he's a nice get. Rod Todd, thanks for joining us, mate. Hey, Damon, just tuning in. Can you tell us much about these debutants this week? The Giants debutant, I know zero about. Never heard of him, actually. As I said earlier, he reminds me of the character from Monsters, Inc., Wazowski. Don't know anything about him, and I'm a little bit worried that he actually will be in and out of the side once the likes of Canelio and stuff return. Sweeping changes as well for the Giants, but Kynan Brown for the Ds. If you scroll back through on our Twitter page, I'm pretty sure I clipped together. Actually, I might be able to find it. Actually, let me just get it up on another tab. He kicked about 2-3 goals. I think it was against Richmond in the practice game they played. Looked really good, clean skills, fleet-footed. So I could probably see him getting a fair run of it. The Ds. Outside of that, don't know the debutant for Port. I think it is in Sydney. I don't. Let me just shut my door because the old wife is home, and she'll probably end up walking in and not realize that I'm streaming. But yeah, I don't know about any of the other debutantes, unfortunately. But at this time of year, any debutantes that are making their debut, chances of them keeping their spot are pretty slim to none. So I wouldn't be trying to get them in as cover or as genuine cash cows, because we're at the point of the season anyway where we're cashing in these cash cows in order to fund the last couple of upgrades for our team. Oh, look at this! I don't really like cheese, mate. You are an absolute legend. You don't need to donate to us, but thank you, mate. That's actually you are breaking new ground. You've given us a super thanks, I think it's called, and you've given us our first. I don't know what they call it. Jeez, I feel like an old man now. I should know this. On YouTube, what's it called? Just support, is it? What's it called? Super chat. So super thanks and super chat. So that is the reason why, of course, we've already dubbed the honor board the I don't really like cheese board. But no, thank you, mate. Really do appreciate it, and I appreciate you just tuning in, really, and joining in the discussion. It's always good fun, mate. And you're an absolute legend, and even more so for throwing coin our way. I'll happily do a pole dance if you want me to, for $7.99. But I don't know how you do 99. You'd have to $7, $5 note and a $2 coin, just smash me in the head, and then a couple of 50-cent coin and two 20 cents. But I don't know how you do the 9. So it might have to be a little cube, bit of a scan, and then you can put it in my my garter belt, and I'll spin around the pole, all that sort of stuff. But no, thank you, mate. And if you do prefer, as you said there, more rants on the AFL, happy to oblige. I could virtually host an entire stream talking about the AFL and round by round and everything else. But of course, we're here to chat SuperCoach. But if anyone wants to chat about AFL generally, feel free, because I'm all ears and I could be here all day. As I said, it's a bugbear of mine with the way that AFL is run, as it is with a lot of supporters, of course. But thank you again, Cheese. You are an absolute legend, and can't thank you enough, mate, for the support that you give us in terms of just your viewership, but also for your patronage and dipping into your own pocket, which is incredible. So thank you so much again, Cheesy. Charlie Remington, really a good get this week. He's not a bad get. He's showing the form that he had a couple of seasons ago prior to being injured. So, no knocks on his game. We know what he can produce when he's at full flight. So, do like him. Mark Westaway, geez, the chat is bloody firing up now, which is incredible because we're kind of winding down. But anyway, we'll keep going. 5 trades left hold. Dempsey and Sexton could equal Schoenmaker and Rankin, but that would stuff the defensive forward DPP swing. Ooh, interesting, yeah. Which obviously is a reference to Sexton there via that swing. Do you not have a Fisher? You could always punt Sexton and Dempsey and go instead for Showmaker, but go for Assad Al-Hawali, whatever his name is. And that'll allow you to, provided you've got Fisher in the forward line, continue that defensive forward DPP swing. Because he's a defensive mid. You'd have to go for someone like a Dawson, who, as we know, with North, isn't going to play anyway. But you could go for him if you haven't already got him, which I'm assuming you don't. But yeah, depends if you really, really need a Schoenmaker or a rookie as a bit of cover off the bench. I'm kind of running the gauntlet, as you can see, with Dawson and Reed not playing anyway. So yeah, that's a tough one, mate. But I think if it affords you to bring in Rankin, that is a nice upgrade. Provided you're talking about like an upcoming trade, because outside of what you've tabled previously, it looked like some good options, mate. So again, back yourself in. Look at your avatar, mate. You look relaxed as can be. So you're doing pretty well, mate. So back yourself in, and I think DPP swings this time of year are very, very valuable. More so, provided you've got cover on other lines that you've got the DPP link with. So that is that. Sorry, I'm just looking at the Sorry, the chat's just going off. 1 second. Laura Kane, the thing is spot on. AFL deserve to be pillared, I guess. Pilloried. The explanation was a farce. Exactly, but don't like that a lot of people are using it to go harder on Kane as a woman having no place in footy. Yeah. I think there's always going to be those nuffies that are just getting into Laura Kane because she's a woman. It's kind of like, what's her name? The commentator, whose name I forget. But even though she's a terrible commentator, and again, if she was a bloke, she'd be ripped into just as much. But Laura Kane in her position, I think, considering that she's so green in the position, I think she should have come out more so than what she has, and said to the AFL internally, like, we need to be transparent. We need to own mistakes. We need to turn around the PR that they've been spinning in years gone by, where they've just been a mouthpiece for the AFL of positivity and nothing's wrong here, when actually there are things that are wrong. So to continue on with that in her role just says that she's virtually not going to bring anything different in terms of ideas, in terms of keeping the umpires, the administration, coaches, players, everything accountable. And I think if you keep yourself accountable at top level, it trickles down, and you're well within your rights to make coaches accountable for when they stuff up, players accountable, all that sort of stuff. If you're not keeping yourself accountable, it's a bit of a cop out when you're turning around and trying to keep coaches to account for things they've said about umpires or so on and so forth. So anyway, we can chat about this all day, as I said, mate. So yep, if you want us to chat, we'll continue chatting, but I don't want to derail things. Rod Todd, cheers, Damon. By the way, have you seen Jonas's sleeping bag? I think he's lost it. Still has his helmet. What? I don't know what you're talking about there, Rod Todd. Cheesy, absolute legend, Damo. I love supporting you boys. It's you and like we say, we don't want to be taking off the hat. Apologies for the hair, and asking for donations or anything like that in any way, shape, or form. The fact that viewership is paramount to I guess spreading the word and working with the YouTube algorithm more than anything. That is payment enough in terms of getting people tuning in from week to week. So for that alone, we are so grateful, and it helps the growth of our content, the growth of our channel, both in YouTube, both for that and our audio podcast. But it's one of those things that when we do have legends like yourself, Cheese, dipping into your pocket, which you don't need to do again, it blows us away. So thank you. It really does show that the people that we have tuning in are absolute legends. So thank you, mate. Moving down the chat, Jonas, Rod, Todd, the Force. What? Double Dummy, hope you're well, mate. So I'm just trying to decipher what the freaking hell's going on in the chat here. Don't get mad, lost. What are you talking about, Rod Todd? I don't know. Is this spilled over from another channel, another YouTube channel or something, gents? What's going on? Anyway, we'll ignore this. But Cheese, a little beef in the chat, maybe. Rod Todd, no, we can cut mates. Cheese, love the go. All right, well, keep it above board, ladies and gents. Don't be slinging personal insults, because we don't want to be kicking anyone, and likewise banning people for anti-Semitism or anything like. So, but if they're gags, and they're harmless. Of course, we know humour can be a little bit edgy, which is what we do here at SuperCoach Edge, hence the name. But yes, we'll continue on. Mark Westaway, Damo have Dawson, Fisher and Sexton all defensive. Oh, okay. Well, in that case then, because you've already got Fisher in the forward line, if you've got Sexton in the forward line as well, you're going to have that defensive forward DPP anyway. Is that right? Like you mentioned that by trading Sexton, you're going to deactivate that defensive forward DPP. Unless Sexton, Fisher and Dawson are all on the same line. I think you should be fine, Mark. Am I reading that right? That's me out. Thanks for the chat and wisdom. Thank you, Mark. Really appreciate you joining us, mate. All the very best for the round ahead. Double dummy. Really late to the chat and teams. Any good rookie downgrades out there on any line? Kynan Brown's probably the best of the lot if you're looking for someone that's going to play obviously this week, but potentially beyond this week. For the Ds, 102.4k mid forward DPP player. Looked good in the preseason. I think it was a practice game against Richmond. Kicked 2-3 goals. So yeah, he's the one that I would be jumping on. Outside of that, the Giants guy, I don't know anything about him. I could see him being in and out of the team. Sydney, Port, I think they've got a debutant, so on and so forth. I don't think they're going to keep their spots. Jack Blucher, how's it going, mate? Have a complete backline midfield with 6 trades left, but just lacking 2 forwards. Have Flanders, Zorko, Heaney, Fisher grabbing Rankin next week, Curnow, Mackay, or Danaher for F6. Of those 3, I'd be going for Curnow. Mackay is kind of playing more time away from the forward line. He's kind of pushing up towards the wing. And then even more so pushing into the ruck as well. Without Pitnet playing in the ruck, it means that TDK is playing one out and means that they need to chop out. So I think looking at the ruck percentages, Mackay was having around about 10 to 15% in the ruck. But again, there's an adverse effect. It means that he's not kicking as many goals as what Curnow is. And Curnow, I just love the fact that he can play tall, small, and the fact that in games that, for those of you who aren't Carlton supporters, you probably don't realise, but for games that are close as well, Voss tends to use Curnow back in defence, gets him to switch back as an intercept defender, and then push forward when the ball is moved on transition. So does elevate his scoring ceiling, and I do think is a bit of a hidden string to his bow that a lot of people are overlooking. Danaher is going all right, but again, I'd much prefer Curnow. Again, with Carlton, with the nice fixture opening up in the back part of the season. And then if you can get Rankin, of course, as well, that'll definitely help. Yes, okay. Where are we? Sorry, apologies. Let me just blow my nose again. Jeez. It's terrible. Luckily, didn't get sick over in the US, which is good to see. I thought I might have, but dodged that bullet. Slimmy, I'll donate to a pole dance as long as Liam's up there with you. We need an end of buys wheel of depression. Did you find a spare hat? P.S. Go Papa Burgundy. Very, very good. Good question, because I'll have a look. See that behind me there, the cupboard with good old Cripper on it and Charles, and of course that's my lanyard for the T20 World Cup. In there, potentially your hats. So let me just have a quick look. Just bear with me, ladies and gents. Ooh, I think you're in luck. You are in luck. We've got a Flat as a Shit Carter's hat here. One of two, because the other one is going to Skids Fits. I promised him a hat. So Slimmy, we might be able to do a wheel of depression, but slide into our DMs, mate, because if you're super keen for a hat, and I know you've been a long time supporter of us, see, we might be able to hook you up with one, mate. So just a bit of a wink. Go Papa Burgundy. P.S. Like that, mate. Cheese, already got to head off now, mate. Enjoy the rest of the night, mate. Thank you, Cheese. Really do appreciate your support, both in viewership and, of course, throwing loose change at us. We do appreciate that, mate. No, it's incredible. So thank you yet again. Scorch Earth, welcome back, mate. What's Brown from Melbourne's job security? Said earlier, I think he's actually could go either way. I think he could get a little bit of a run of it, especially if Pickett's played in the middle. In Brachaka's role, he might get some extra CBAs, so it might sort of carve out a bit of a role there for Brown, but we'll wait and see. Jack Blucher, as a Brizzy fan, I like Big Joe as a pod, but Kerner probably has higher ceiling. Danaher's scores lately haven't been too bad. Yeah, he's been all right. Good Joey D. But I think I'd back in Kerno with his fixture and that extra bit of a cheat code with his role as well. Sam Day, is he back in the team? Is he? Did I miss that? Yes, he's back in the team. No, I wouldn't say. I don't think he's going to be offering much in terms of coverage or scoring longer term double. I think he might be out of the team as quick as he is coming back in. Sorry, quick going out of the team as he is coming back in. Because who's going out? Ben King. So once Ben King's back, and Walter, potentially if Walter kills it in the VFL this coming round, he could be straight back in. So yeah, wouldn't be trusting Sam Day in the slightest, but don't mind the suggestion, mate. Jonas is DPP 30%. It's 35%. So yep, he's Horn Francis has got to go elevate from 30% to 35, and what did I say? It was 26%. I think was Warner. Needs to get up another 9% to 35%. Yes, Rod Todd is correct, 35%. Why is everyone talking about Pickles, aka Horny Francis, getting DPP sitting on 30%? I think they're just hopeful that he's going to get some extra time in the forward line, which isn't going to happen in the slightest. Kerno and Mackay, the sword play boys, Jonathan in particular, talked a lot about these two. Rated Kerno much higher than Harry Helmet. Yep, he's on the same view as me. A couple of baggers boys we are, so we obviously watch these guys very, very closely. Echoed your thoughts about Kerno. Yep, exactly. Nosy stuff. Nosy stuff is a fellow bagger. Jonas, K Brown time to open up a can of rookie juice. Yeah, we would love it. We'd down it. We'd absolutely down that. We'd skull that. Scorched Earth. I've completed my defense mids and rucks. Working on a decent F5 and 6 now. Running with Heaney, Zorko, Flanders and Fisher. Yep, it's good. Thoughts on good options. Quickly running out of trades. Well, yeah, spoke about Kerno. I think Kerno's a very nice cut price F6. I'm viewing him option. I think Rankin's definitely another one as well, but a bit more expensive. Jackson is another one. I think is, what is he priced at? 509k. I do think that he's a bit underrated if you haven't got Jackson. Outside of that, Moore maybe, Dylan Moore, but he's obviously on the bye this week. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I wouldn't really be going for anyone else, I don't think, at a pinch. Jonas, how many trades will everyone have left after this week's trades? 4 for me with a finished team. Is that with 22 players, Jonas, with bench cover, or have you got 22 plus a 23rd? Always keen to hear that, but a very, very good question. So let us know in the comments section as well as to how many trades you're going to have after this last buy round, heading into round 16 and beyond. And there am I. Look at my mug shot. The T20 World Cup. Classic. Geez, it's 30 people now. Thanks for joining us. People have joined us late. People have joined us late. I think we've covered off most things, really. But if you have any questions, comments about your own teams, let us know. Because otherwise we might wrap things up very, very shortly. Even generally, AFL chat, live chat. Let us know. Murray, g'day mate. Thanks for joining. G'day mate. Warner Job Security, Salem Good Form DPP. Yes. Hold Oliver now, track gone. Thoughts? Yeah, Liam and I spoke about this. This is a question we had in our I Got to Know Q&A segment about Oliver. And I am not as bullish on Oliver as what some others are. With track gone, yes, it does elevate the amount of scoring potential that he can have. He's obviously a bit more slice of the pie. But I think it does open him up to a potential tag risk. And we know that tags are back in vogue in recent weeks, so I'm a little bit worried with that. Salem I like, but if he runs through the middle, I think he's going to be scoring as well as what he did earlier in the season, which is pretty good. And yeah, I do like him at his price point, especially with the DPP. Warner from Freo might get a bit of a reprieve, even though Chapman's back. They have dropped Draper as well, so there is a little bit of a hole back in defence. So maybe Warner does keep his spot in the side. Where is it? So it is here. Yeah, Carl Warner, that is. So, yeah. Because who else they got on the bench? Erasmus, no, Emmett. Yeah. I still worry about him, though, because they've got Cox to return to that defence as well, and I think he's going to be playing VFL this week. Could be next week. Once Cox returns for Freo, I think Warner's going to be out. But yes, let's have a quick look at Salem whilst we're here. I'll have a bit of a swig. 437.4k. I like it. Got a bit of a nice fixture. North and West Coast in 2 of his next 3. And he's scored well since round 10. Yeah. How many CBAs was he getting? Let's have a quick look at DFS Australia. Because that's the big tell. Oh, there you go. He hasn't actually been getting any CBAs. He did in round 10 against West Coast with 33%, but the past 3 weeks, 0. And yet he's scoring well. So, there you go, the tab there. Sorry, I thought I was sharing this. So 33 against the Eagles and then 0 these past 3. So, yeah. And early in the season, he had 38%, 76% in his first 2 games of the season and 33% against Port, which equates to 93, 86 and 70. So he's actually scoring better playing in defence. So it's a bit of an interesting one, is Salem. Tristan, how are you, mates? No McKercher back in hurts, yes. Do I bite the bullet and get him out with 270k in the bank to use as well? Yeah, I'd probably do that, mate. But if you've held him for this long, what's another week? You know what I mean? So, but if it does afford you, because what's he priced at? 379, so 270k gives you a 640k player. So yeah, it's a fair chunk of coin to work with to get in a big primo dog. So I'd probably go down that route, I think, Tristan. Especially if you're kind of running a bit low and dry on some quality players for the last buy round this week. Tuning in on the drive home late. Sorry, no apologies needed, mate. Just glad to have you tuning in, mate. So hope you are well. And good to see you tuning in via audio as well, like Adam was doing earlier. Do it safely, of course. Jonas, this is your team by the looks of it. Dacos, Ryan, Sheasel, Houston, Sinclair, Martin, Dawson and Reed. Midfield, Bond, Butters, Sarong, Merritt, Neal, Walsh, Green, Oliver. Yep, like that. Dowling, Manor, rookie. And then forwards, Heaney, Flanders, Zorko, Rankin, Jackson, Fisher. That's a good forward line. It's a very good forward line. And then Gawn and Grundy. Good old Gaundy combo. 4 trades left, 78k. You've got a very, very solid team, mate. Very solid team. So you should be happy with that. Got enough cover, I think, with, outside of Dawson, Reed and defence like myself. You've got Dowling as a mid forward. And then, do you have actually any DPP? Oh, well, you do with the fact that you've got Zorko, Flanders, Heaney, all that sort of stuff. But, yeah, you're in a good spot, mate. You're in a good spot. You probably don't need a 23rd player off the back of that, considering you've got, pretty much all the big dogs. So, yeah, you're in a good spot. In a very good spot. So, well done to you, good old Jonas. I reckon you might topple Liam, this week, looking at that team. Carl, if you had a 23rd primo and a 24th reserve, is Shea Bolton, would you be okay going as low as 3 to 4 trades at the end of the next round? Yeah, I would. I would actually. If you completed your team, and you've got a 23rd primo and then a 24th reserve, which a lot of teams won't have, um, yeah, that puts you in a very nice position and a bit of a point of difference, I think, as well from other teams that just have, 22 primos and then have to rely upon, you know, rookies virtually on the bench as coverage, nothing more than coverage really. So to have a 23rd primo and then a 24th reserve as well, presumably with Bolton in the forward line and, the 23rd primo like a Rosie or someone, being able to loop scores off the bench and, try and zigzag and, kind of like Neo from the Matrix, just dodging, low scores from a Green or a Miller, these higher owned primos that aren't performing like primos. It gives you a point of difference and you're able to actually work your way up the ranks. So I do like that, mate. And I think 3 to 4 trades for, I guess long-term injuries will hold you in good stead because you could, if you were to have an injury, you could easily sub on a Bolton or a Rosie who's, presumably that 23rd primo, for example, and then hold those extra trades with those injured players if need be, and then strategically, trade them out as you need be. Yeah, you're in a great spot, mate. So love that. Love that. It's good to see. Warms my heart to see people that have actually planned their teams so well. Rod Todd, DH. I have no idea what that is. Dickhead. Is it me? Jonas, we've gone through that. Good team, mate. Rod Todd have suggested this to the other big boys, but how about a live charity Q&A featuring SuperCoach Edge, FFTV, and SuperCoach with DR? Would raise money for a good cause and seeing the goats together would be elite. That's actually a really good suggestion, Roddy. 100% would be doing it. I've always been keen, and I think it's been at the back of my mind more so this year than other years that given the growth of the community, we see so many different, different content creators, of course, first and foremost, but new content creators coming through the ranks as well. And I think it'd be such a good thing. I mean, we see it in the fantasy community with the, DT Talk Boys or the fantasy traders, as they call themselves, as well as a few other fantasy podcasters out there that have actually done live events. And I think that probably there's not enough interest with SuperCoach, but I think if we were to combine ourselves and put on a combined event, that would be absolutely fantastic, and be great to just meet people like yourself and viewers and listeners and everything else, and just get around each other more than anything, and use it as a bit of a social event where other listeners and viewers can meet each other and can meet us and have a beer or a bit of a cider, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that'd be great, mate. So I'm going to screenshot this, and might be something for us to organise because it's a bit late in the season now, and I think the interest with SuperCoach it's kind of waning, but definitely the start of the season, because we've had people ask us leading into the season to put on a bit of a meet and greet, a bit of a live type thing, but wouldn't know the first thing about trying to organise it, first and foremost. But secondly, I think they need to be, because you virtually need to hire the event space, you need to sell tickets, even though, we wouldn't want to be making a profit in any way, shape or form, but it's virtually just to offset the costs of hiring the event space. And I'm not a fan of just, charging people to come in and, to watch us talk shit. So even if it's just a meet and greet at a bar or something, and generally just there we can reserve a table, people can come in, have a chat, but it would be a very nice thing to do, a bit of a live show and meet other content creators, which Liam and I have done with DR. Met him a couple of times, of course. I gave him a lift home. Lives a couple of suburbs just up north from me here, but to meet other guys like the FFTV boys as well, who I haven't met in person, but met Swizz and the Centre Bounce boys as well at the where was it? Oh, it was the SuperCoach launch they had on. So invited a whole heap of us content creators there, and that was good. And it kind of gave me that idea at the time as well that it'd be good to put on an event that like the fantasy guys do, to really build the community. And I'm sure if we had some sort of backing from the the heads of SuperCoach, even if they were able to tip in something off the back of their sponsorship dollary dues that they get, because we're virtually promoting the game. If they're able to help us out in some way, shape, or form, and then if we put on a combined event, 100% be a good way to do it. But I think that's kind of what they want to do with the launch anyway, the SuperCoach launch. But it's confined to just content creators. But I think it should be open to just the general punters and public and stuff, and fans and listeners and viewers and stuff of all the different content creators to come in and mingle and really, I guess, grow the interest in SuperCoach. So I might slide into Tim Mitchell's DMs post-season maybe, and see if we can line something up for the start of the 2025 season, because that'd be sweet. But very good suggestion by you, Roddy. Harry, what are your thoughts on Sexton, hold and watch or trade? So actually, let me just have a look at the Suns. So who have they brought in? So obviously Will Powell comes in. They've kept Yulin, which is interesting, back in defense. I do think that off the back of that, Sexton could potentially lose his spot. The fact they've brought Day in, I thought they might have just slotted Sexton into the forward line. I don't think Ellis is going to make the final team. Witts obviously will. Hawago, I don't know if he will. Alex Davies, don't know. Lloyd Johnston, probably not. Jake Rogers, I can see coming back in. Sam Day, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many do they have injured? 5. Yeah, I can see him keeping his spot off the back of that, but I reckon he plays more forward, or could be sort of swinging between forward and defense, which will, either way anyway, is going to impact his scoring output. So you can probably hold and watch. What's Sexton's break even? 50. Okay, yeah. I'll probably hold him this week at the very least if he plays. Even if he doesn't play, just keep him anyway. Unless you need him to, if you're struggling for a best 18. But I'd hold him for definitely this week, see what his role is, and that'll be a good indicator of what his role is going to be going forward, Harry. Jonas, Richards is 1 or 2 weeks away, 212k, break even negative 36. Hopefully he can come back and perform for us. Probably won't be a cash cow of sorts. Could be if you need a bit of late cash, but just be nice to have a bit of extra coverage if need be, and potentially loop some scores off the bench. Rod Todd, agree 100%. Would love to meet you guys. Have only met DR at the footy randomly. There you go. Legit the best player. He's 100%. He's one of the most genuine blokes. Genuinely nice guys, which is few and far between in life, but in SuperCoach as well. Really, really good bloke. Knows his stuff, and had a good chat to him on the drive home. And as you say, just like he is in his vids, you two would really click. Yeah, we did. He's actually a very, very wise bloke, and a lot of his philosophies aligned with mine, and the way you treat people, the way you talk to people, being friendly, don't be negative, all that sort of stuff. He's a nice dude, and as a school teacher, 100% can see why he is. But I said to him, I said, it's crossed my mind growing up that I could have been a school teacher, because I love helping people, and part of the reason why I've got the SuperCoach channel and stuff. But I think I'm probably too loose to be a school teacher. But as he is as well, mind you, he's a good bloke, very, very good bloke. So good suggestion, Roddy. Didn't realise you already met. Yeah, not surprised you too. Yes. It was good bloke. Funny bastard as well. He is. It's similar sort of humour as well, which is good. I heard about that somewhere. He definitely did. He thanked me on Twitter. He tweeted at me and was like, "Thanks for the drive home," and said he was a bit under the weather, and that was part of the reason why I gave him a lift home as well, because he's got 2-3 young kids or something, and he's I think his wife is pregnant again, maybe potentially, but I had to be the good bloke and be like, no, you're not going to be getting a lift home randomly, and he'd stay past his. This is the thing, he actually stayed out for an extra couple of drinks, even despite the fact that he was supposed to have left like an hour earlier. And his wife called him, and he was on the phone, and he was like, "Oh no, we're just doing a tour of the 360 studios." He's a funny bastard, but good bloke. 100% good bloke. Jonas, did you see DR get Swizz's phone wet? Don't know what you mean there, Jonas. What are you referring to? Very, very obscure at times, Jonas, but no, I've obviously missed something, mate. I'm out of the loop. Um, what are you referring to there? Let us know. Um, Bryce, 485, thanks for joining us, mate. Martin, Zorko, or Ridley and Kerno. I'd go for Martin and Zorko at a pinch. Ridley probably it's hard. It's much of a muchness because I think Ridley outscores Martin, but I also think that Zorko outscores Kerno. So it's pretty much an even balanced trade there. Brian at the Demons, who gets Truckers points? Yeah, it's a tough one, mate. Oliver probably gets a bit more slice of the pie, but albeit probably gets tagged now without Petrarca being there. Probably, I think they've got Sparrow named in the midfield at the moment. I can see Pickett running through there, getting a few extra CBAs, all that sort of stuff. So that'll be interesting to see how things come out in the wash there. Freddie Supercoach, thanks for joining us, mate. What are your thoughts on McRae, McNeil, and Harrison to Nando? That is Nathan Anderson. Nathan Anderson. What's his name? No. What's his name? Anderson. What's his first name? It's not Nathan, is it? Nando. Noah Anderson, of course, idiot. Cozzy or Adams. And Brown. And which out of Adams and Cozzy or anyone else sub 380? I wouldn't be going for Adams personally. I would probably opt to take the gamble on Cozzy if he gets some of those CBAs that are freed up now without Petrarca being there. So in the past, as you can see there, Pickett, especially over the past couple of weeks, he's had bulk CBAs. So I can see him. He had 83% CBAs as well. So I could see on the weekend. So I could see Pickett 100% sticking around in the midfield, especially the fact they brought Condon Brown in as that small forward allows Pickett to play through the middle. So yeah, I'd be taking a flyer on Pickett personally ahead of an Adams, who's an injury risk and his scoring's been up and down. And Noah Anderson, has he been scoring recently? But he's been scoring up and down throughout the season. I don't trust him. I can see him being a tag risk as well. Yeah. Not a fan of Anderson. Cozzy, I don't mind a flyer on. Cheers, mate, says Harry. I was going to trade Sweet this week for Ridley, but now he's named. Hold Sweet or trade still. Other option is to trade Richards to a 102k rookie. If you trade Richards to a 102k rookie, provided that it does provide a bit of, I guess, an advantage to you in some way, shape, or form, whether it be as a DPP swing or if it allows you as a bit of a loophole, you could do that. But I think with Ridley, could you afford to wait? 563.9, break even 106, so he's going to go up in price, you'd think. Scored a 64, 100, and 130 in his past three against the Eagles. And then with Sweet, I think he's kind of made as much money as he can. Anyway, Sweet. No, actually, no, sorry. Take that back. 32 break even. Number one ruck, 74. He's scored. So probably will go up another 25, 30k. So if you can hold, that's the thing. Like if Sweet goes up that much, Ridley, you might make a little bit of cash in comparison to Ridley. If you go for Ridley this week, like Ridley might go up another 10k, 15k. So you still might make around about 10k, 15k by keeping Sweet and opting to go for Ridley like in next week. But does Sweet outscore Ridley? Don't know if he will. Plays the Lions, who I think the Lions don't give up too many points, do they, to opposition rucks? Let's have a squeeze. Brisbane, no, they give up the fourth least points to opposition rucks. So might be in for a tough day out. Is Sweet. So yeah, I always say that if you're stuck between keeping a rookie who has a bit more cash to make compared to using them as a bit of a stepping stone to a primo. Always go for the stepping stone to the primo, especially if they're going to score more than that rookie, which I think Sweet is still a rookie. Like we can't rely upon him. He's scored 74 in his past couple of games that he's played. So for me, I'd be going for Ridley still. But if you keep Sweet and you need if you get in another player that's a playing player, it'll give you an extra player to play. So yeah, keep that in mind as well. But I'd probably go for Ridley, potentially. Rod Todd, I think the story was that DR spilled a drink all over Swizz's phone after the event. Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Yes, he did. I don't know, I don't think it was over his phone. I don't know if it was over his phone. I think he spilled a drink. Yeah. I did forget that. He's knocked it straight over and went everywhere. I think it trickled onto the table and didn't go all over Swizz's phone, but did get wet, I think. Noah, that's the one. That is the one. Anderson's Arc. Welcome back, Damo. Thank you, Skits. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're well. And I do have to give you one of these as well, mate. As well, I just haven't had a chance. Obviously, I only got back into the country a few days ago, but good to see you're up and about, mate. Isn't it amazing? Like how memes catch on and just spread like wildfire. If you haven't seen it, it's have a look on TikTok. It's a chick that she was interviewed, some random chick interviewed about doing the old Huck2, which is spitting on. I won't because there might be kids watching, but a bit of adult content there. Spit can take you a little bit further. Jonas, Skitsy, bloody Shorty's internet carked last night, eh? Good old Shorty. How's Shorty going? In terms of his team, is he going all right? Global, g'day, great man. Great, g'day to you, man. Hope you're well. Rod Todd, Noah Anderson, the Noah coaster, so up and down. He is. He's bloody up, down, left, right, everything. Well, we've just ticked over 2 hours, ladies and gents, so I might wrap it up there because the old wife is home. She's not old. I always say old, but she's not. She's actually younger. Makes me feel old. Should go say hello. Should go and have some dinner as well because it is 7:39. So last question we'll answer is Freddie's SuperCoach, and you've asked, mate, who's the mid target this week? Break even and price affected. Who would you go for? Probably Zach Merritt, I reckon. Good matchup, West Coast, reasonably priced. Sarong's got some money to lose after this week, so you could probably hold off on him. Zero's probably my pick of the bunch, I think. Rosie is a bit of a cheaper option as well. Next week, you could probably wait, though. That's about it, I reckon. Let's just... If it lets us... Matty Real, he should have a high break here, 123. I don't mind Matty Real. Rory Laird's an interesting one, but of course he's on the bye. But Goulden's another one. I think he just gets lost now. I think with Warner and Heaney, he kind of just, hides behind their shadows and is able to score well. So he's definitely one. Neil's a nice price as well, 609. Has a high break even though. Probably will get tagged this week by Willem Drew. So you could probably hold off on him. That's about it, really. Yep, that's all I'd recommend. So I reckon... whatchamacallit, good old Zachariah Merritt is the pick of the bunch for me. Rod Todd, thanks for the night, Damon. Enjoyed it, and cheers. Thank you, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the discussion, chat, everything else. It's been good fun, mate. Thank you, Kev. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Hopefully you've enjoyed the discussion, banter, everything else. And likewise, Jonas, great show. Say bad luck to Liam in advance for the loss this weekend, yes. Actually, whilst we're here, to sign us off, let us, because Jonas, I know you're always keen, for us to go through leagues, see how things are stacking up leagues-wise. In the SuperCoach Edge Cashy, ended up losing on the weekend. But I'm still one ahead of you, of course, Jonas. Actually, a game and a half ahead because I had that draw. So sitting pretty there. In the SuperCoach Edge Cashy 2, I've slid back to fourth spot after a loss on the weekend. DRs, Content Legends, of course, these are all the content creators here. Abs Magic, top of the list. Very, very, as you can see, very, very hotly contested this league here. And we've got Vern, we've got SDS SuperCoach, we've got Horses for Courses, Mick, of course, Ross from Third Man Up, Spills, Centre Bounce, Dashing. I don't know who Dashing Donkeys is. Of course, that's Swizz, Step Butters. I don't know who Step Butters is. JB from Dr. Supercoach, myself, JD from Fantasy Take TV, Dr. Supercoach, Pete, George, of course, from Fantasy Take TV, Janeth in fourth spot, Damo, of course, the big Frio man from formerly of Jock Reynolds and has his own channel, of course, DR, legend, and the Skodfather. Overall rank for the SuperCoach Edge Open League, I'm ranked 100th on the dot. And at the moment we have Chebs Titans leading the way. Mind you, ranked 4th overall as well. Zora Killer or Zora Silla. Ryan Dow and Ever is still up there, going well. Where are you, Skitsy? Skits Fits in 10th spot. We have El Patton in 9th, believe it or not. And so on and so forth. So going well there. Let's go down to, what's the other league? There's Spillsy's league as well. I'm leading the charge there, ahead of George's Supercoach, Damo, Big J from Centre Bounce, Janeth, DR, a few others. It's amazing that in some leagues you're going well, and then other leagues with the same, opponents, other content creators, you actually don't. So swings and roundabouts, really. Skodfather Legends is the one. I'm ranked 5th overall. And again, hotly contested. For overall points, I'm ranked 3rd behind Janeth and... actually, no, that's not right. It's points against. Sorry. Oh, they've only got percentage here. They've got to do points for. Don't like the percentage. Skews things. Because you can have teams having their grand final against you every single week, which is virtually like in one of my cash leagues. That's happening to me. I'm the 3rd highest score for, but I've got the most points against, and I'm like in 10th spot or something. I'm in 6th spot here in the Skodfathers Legends League. Janeth leading the way, Abs Magic in 2nd, Selby in 3rd, El Patton in 4th. Don't know who the Gull Bus is. Tim. I'm in 6th. DR's in 7th. George 8th. And filled out with the rest of the crew. That's it, ladies and gents. That is virtually it. We'll leave things there. Slim, awesome live sesh demo. Good luck all and Godspeed indeed. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Dale, last question. What do we feel about Hinge in the back line as a pod? Don't mind him, mate. He's actually scoring quite well. He is a bit of a bolter. Been thereabouts, but I probably prefer at that price point to pay up for a Houston and the like. So even Ridley as well. But mind you, Hinge is ranked as the 7th best scoring defender, believe it or not. That's it, ladies and gents. Let's leave it there. Thumbs up, fellas. Thumbs up to you, Jonas, as well. All the very best to everyone for the coming round, for the last buy round, believe it or not. Thank God we're there. And it's been a bit of a mammoth live stream, this one, but I felt I kind of owed it to everyone just for not being able to do a bit of a live stream whilst I was in the US. I did actually record a bit of a team talk, but I wasn't vibing with it. I was tired and didn't have any time to cut it together. So that just lives in the shadows of what could have been. But I was like, yeah, I was kind of mid round anyway, so I was like, yeah, stuff it, leave it. But of course, thought I'd jump on here for an extended chat and give it up and give some more time to you kind folk that tune in from week to week. So thank you as always for tuning in. As always, if you have any comments or questions, let us know in the comment section down below. We'll try and get to them, but hit us up first and foremost on Twitter, which is where we're most active and able to help you out leading into the round, of course. And if you haven't done it already, feel free to give us a sub, give us a like, all that sort of stuff. All that support is absolutely fantastic. And can't thank again. I don't really like Cheese for his nice little donation that he didn't need to do, but again, just underlines the absolute legends that we have in the community. So again, thank you again for tuning in. All the very best for the round ahead, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.